Today's guest is an Olds standard trumpet from the mid or late 1940s. This trumpet is not mine. It's been lent to me by a friend, and I'm very grateful to Raul for letting me check it out. Just a quick visual exterior comparison. We have on the left my old Super from the mid or late 1940s as well. In the middle is the standard, and on the right is my Olds Opera from 1957 or so. So just right off the bat, you can see that there are some design differences. The most similar instruments are the Super on the far left and the Opera on the right. It looks like the standard has a shorter lead pipe, which is not exactly true. We'll zoom in and take a look at that in a second. And there's some other design differences as well. I've been led to believe that all Olds trumpets have the same lead pipe and bell except for the Opera, and they're all medium large 460 thousandths of an inch bores, except for the Opera, which is an extra large 468. I don't know how true that is. 5 decades of production is a long time for that to remain true, all the same lead pipe and bell used on practically all the models. If you know anything about that, leave a comment. So let's get in a little bit closer and check out some of the differences that I've seen in design, at least from the outside. The bottom leg of the tuning slide receiver here is of the same design as the Opera. I don't know what you'd call this. It's exactly like a Benge or a French Besson trumpet. They have the exact same kind of bottom tuning slide receiver. Here we have more of a box style. I'm not sure why that is, or even what difference it would make in the response of the horn. You can see the trombone style water key levers on the Super, also on the third slide. And we have the same here on the main tuning slide of the standard, but on the third slide, it's just the standard traditional kind of water key lever. These are convenient. Like on the Super, you can empty both water keys at the same time. The seal is not so great with those trombone style water key levers. And here we just have traditional water key levers on the Opera. Take a look at the main braces. One by one. Of a similar type, but they have some interesting kind of design or aesthetic differences. This is the Super. Very attractive brace design there, kind of the airplane strut that we've also seen on Selmer Paris trumpets. There again, similar type of brace. The angle is much, much different, and the design of the actual pillar is aesthetically different as well. Same thing down here on the main brace. Again, airplane strut style braces. This is more similar to the standard than to the Super, but again, it's not exactly the same. The most ornate design for the brace, I think you could find here on the standard. Okay, I did mention at the beginning kind of what seems to be a difference in lead pipe length. Not exactly. If we turn the horns this way, and back up a little bit, you'll notice that the back bow of the bell on the standard is at a greater distance from the valve casings compared to the Opera or the Super. It reminds me a bit of the Olds recording. that also had a kind of more forward-sitting valve section, a seemingly larger space between the bell bow and the valve casings. I don't know if the standard has the same type or distance that the Olds recording had. I no longer own an Olds recording. Maybe we could take a look at a photo. Basically, aside from other bracing differences, you can see the braces that hold the third slide tubes away from each other, third slide tube away from the tuning slide tube, etc. We have similar ones on the standard up to a point. Down here on the third slide, we have different kind of, looks like kind of a Bach style, those two small pillars there. And if you can see the difference between the standard and the pillars here on the super olds, which are all exactly the same. The only difference here in the standard is this other type of pillar or brace that's used on the third slide tubes. So, as far as the mix of nickel and brass, it's pretty much the same as the standard, as the super rather. Of course, the opera is something completely different. It's a mostly nickel instrument. You can check this horn out on this other video that I made some time ago. Now, the engraving on the bell of the super is on what is called a garling, where we have the super olds made by F.E. Olds and Sons, Los Angeles, California. Very attractive. Don't know what function that might have as far as changing the response of the bell. Really have no idea. Probably no one does. And if they say they do, they're probably just blowing smoke. You can see the Olds standard engraving here. Again, F.E. Olds and Son, Los Angeles, California. Very discreet, but beautiful bell engraving. And the opera, as we've seen in previous videos, has a very unusual bell inscription here, at least as far as the position. I think it's quite nice, actually. This is a Fullerton Olds. Obviously, this is from the late 50s. The factory had moved from Los Angeles to Fullerton sometime in the 1950s. Again, talking about bracing, should mention that the bracing is totally different from the previous two horns. As you can see there, between the bell tube and the first slide tubes on the first slide, bottom receiver and third slide, and the third slide itself, different type of bracing there. So again, there you are. Three nice examples of Olds craftsmanship and ingenuity and design. It's a really fascinating history, all the different models. I'm not an expert on Olds trumpets. I do like them very much, and frankly, they're built like tanks. It's amazing to find so many examples of Olds instruments from the 40s and 50s that are still in good shape, not destroyed, not rotted in the lead pipe. It all depends really on what use and care they received during their formative years. But again, it's quite a variety and great playing horns for the most part. So basically it, as I said, two horns on the left are a medium large bore, as were virtually all of the Olds trumpets, except for the Opera on the right, which is an extra large bore. Enough said. Time for a playtest. Let's head down to the studio and hear how the standard sounds.